Hello everyone, my name is B Mark, and today in this video I will show you some fixes for the issues when running Pokemon Legends ZA on your PC using either the Ryubing Emulator or the Eden Emulator. So yeah, let's get started on this video now. Alright, so the first issue that I have seen is that the emulator instantly crashes as soon as you open it. So before even running the game, if you click on the emulator, it just instantly closes and doesn't want to open. So what you need to do to fix it is to download this Microsoft Visual C++. You go down here and download for x86 and through this link. I'll put a link in the description below to directly download this Visual C++. After installing this file, you should be able to open the emulator normally. Alright, so the very next common issue that I have seen is that the game is not showing up in the emulator. So after you add the folder that has the game in it, the game just does not show up. As you can see, for me, Pokemon Legends ZA is actually showing up. Now if your game is not showing up, follow these steps. So first of all, make sure your game is a .nsp or .xci file. As you can see, for my ZA, the game is .nsp file. And make sure that the game is the base version 1.0.0 and the file size is 4 GB. Next, if you are using Eden Emulator, make sure your keys are updated. So the keys I have here for Eden Emulator are actually the version 20.something keys, which are basically the current latest keys. So make sure you are on the latest keys. And if you are using Ryubing Emulator, make sure also you are on the updated keys, and also make sure you have proper firmware version installed. And so as you can see, I have the 20.1.1 version installed for firmware, and I have the 20.something of keys. Alright, so the next common issue I have seen is that suppose if you're using Eden Emulator, you cannot see your device in this graphics section. So you cannot see your GPU in this device section, or you cannot change any kind of API. So you cannot change OPENGL or cannot change VULKAN. So to fix this, make sure your GPU drivers are updated. So as you can see, if I have a AMD GPU and I have the latest driver basically installed. So whatever GPU you are using, NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, whatever it is, make sure your GPU driver is updated. Alright, so the next issue is that I've seen on my comment section is that the game just crashes after you start the game up. So after you've seen the loading screen or after you have selected language, the game just outright crashes. Or sometimes the game will just run, but it will be a complete black screen, but you can hear the sound running. So for that, very first step is that make sure your GPU drivers is updated, as I said in the last timestamp. And next, make sure you have at least minimum 12 GB or 16 GB of RAM. If you have 8 GB of RAM, the game just might crash outright. Alright, next is if you're using Eden Emulator. Well, first of all, I actually made a complete video on how you can play Pokemon Legends ZA using the Eden Emulator. I'll put a link in the I button right now and also a link in the description down below, so you can check that video out. So in your Eden's graphics setting, you can either experiment with your VULKAN or OPENGL. Try to run the game with either VULKAN or OPENGL, see if it's actually starting up. Also for starter, play with 1x resolution, or even better, just drop it down to 0.5x and try to run the game, see if it's actually running. Also, I have seen some comments saying that changing the full screen mode from exclusive full screen to borderless window actually fixes the crashing issue. Now if you have a lower VRAM GPU, maybe with 2 GB of VRAM or maybe 3 GB of VRAM, in the graphics advanced tab, make sure this recompression method is set to either PC1 or PC3. These are for lower VRAM GPUs. If you are on like an 8 GB of VRAM or higher, you can just keep it at uncompressed. And also next is do make sure that your game is actually showing up. As you can see, for me, Pokemon Legends ZA is actually showing up. If your game is not showing up this way and you try to directly run the game will crash. And if you're using Ryubing Emulator, well, again, as I said, make sure your game is actually showing up and you have updated your GPU drivers. And on the Ryubing setting, under the CPU section, make sure this option is checked if you're using a lower power device. Under the graphics section, again, you can experiment with VULKAN or OPENGL. And again, if you have a lower VRAM GPU of 4GB or 3GB, make sure this option is enabled. If you have like 8GB or higher VRAM GPU, you don't need to enable this. And also try running the game with native resolution, see if it's working. Now next, when playing on Ryubing, if you are seeing cutscene crashes when playing Pokemon Legends ZA, if you're seeing an initial cutscene crash, you can actually check this video up which I have made about Ryubing Emulator in the top I button, or I can put a link in the description below. In that video, I actually at the end showed you how you can fix this crashing issue. Alright, next, if you're playing Pokemon Legends ZA using the Eden emulator and actually experiencing a lot of graphical issues, I'll show you a temporary fix for that. So let's get started. So first, you have to come into this website. I'll put a link in the description below for this website. Now this website actually features Eden Nightly, which are work in progress build of Eden, or experimental builds basically. So this is the current latest work in progress build. You have to just scroll down and you will see lots of different builds for different platforms. As I'm using Windows, I'm just gonna download for Windows, which is this one. I will put a direct link for this Windows version as well in the description down below, so you can directly download this build. So I have got this Eden build downloaded. I'm just gonna extract it and open this exe file up. Alright, so the next step is to have the Pokemon Legends ZA update 1.0.1. As you can see, I have the version 1.0.1 update for Pokemon Legends ZA. If you want to know how you can update your game, if you have the update already, then I will put a link of a complete Eden emulator guide in the I button, or I will put a link in the description down below. Next, you go to emulation, go to configure, go to graphics, go to extension, and make sure this extended dynamic state is set to 0. Now go to advanced tab and make sure this fast GPU time is actually unchecked. Next, you go to CPU, and in this accuracy section, make sure this is set to accurate. Now next, remove all of your shader cache for your game. So I'm just gonna go here, remove, and click on this remove all pipeline cache. Click on yes, and you have removed all your shader cache. Alright, now let's start the game now. Alright, as you can see, the game actually has been started up. Well, the screen will be currently blurred, but you might just be able to tell that there is no actually graphical glitches occurring. I'm moving my camera around, but you might just be able to tell that the characters are actually rendering. Now this temporary fix actually fixes most of the issues, but there are still some graphical glitches that might occur, so only further emulator updates will fix that. Alright, so that is for the fixes for some common issues running Pokemon Legends ZA on your PC using either Eden or Ryubing Emulator. So if you have any other issues appearing, please leave a comment down below. So yeah, if you have come this far, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.